What's happening, everybody? NPDC The Show is back at you. It's Thursday, April 9th. Jake Lloyd, Maria Randazzo, and McCowan Young. What's going on, y'all?
Also known as November Project DC.
Yeah,
for my banner. Not too much. Happy Thursday. We're almost through another week in quarantine. How's everyone holding up?
You know, I think this is the first week I'm starting to feel a little bit more relaxed, like I'm getting into a groove of the new norm, which is weird. I didn't think that a day would come when this felt somewhat normal. I kind of have a plan now every day when I wake up. It's a little different.
Yeah, it was just, we're keeping track of days. We got like a chalkboard wall, so we're like adding a chalk mark every day, and today's 29. So I feel like the fact that we've almost reached a month now, there is kind of a sense of normalcy to it. I was just walking around the neighborhood, kind of a daily routine that I've developed, go on a few walks every couple hours to kind of break up the day. And I was like, this is just kind of what we do now.
What do you guys think your best quarantine habit is and your worst quarantine habit is?
I think my worst is that I'm sleeping in a lot later, which I don't know. Maybe some people think that's a good thing. I don't like it. It makes me feel like I'm wasting the day. So I'm getting to work out a lot.
Define sleeping in for the audience. Because we wake up early in normal time. So what does sleeping in look like?
I don't know. I feel like anything past 6:30 or 7 feels like sleeping in. It's me.
Jake, have you been sleeping in later than 7:30?
We've been not really later than 7:30. I think 7:30 has been about the latest. It's typically been between 6:45 and 7:30 has been waking up. But man, those mornings where I'm going to bed at 10 and waking up at 7, the fact that I'm getting 9 hours during a week feels pretty incredible. And whenever we get back to that sense of normalcy and there is a 4:45 alarm again, it's gonna be brutal. It's gonna be absolutely brutal.
So worth it though. Ugh.
All right, yes, best quarantine habit.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm having a hard time. I guess I'm getting actually, I'm getting better at running by myself.
There you go.
I'm on a crazy long run streak, which running, I mean, we do a lot of running at MP and stuff, but I've never been someone who just I'm gonna go for a run today. That's never been my MO. And
how long is your run streak?
I think I'm on day 9 of going for a run by myself, which is I never thought I would say that ever.
You run 9 straight days?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going that far, but.
Good God. What is this, Ron Batcher out here or something?
Yeah, just call me Batcher.
My best habit, I mentioned the walks. I think the walks have been super helpful. What else? I think just getting outside has been really great. I think I've gotten a lot better at just reading as a way of just kind of ending the day. I used to be worse about getting on my phone and worrying about X, Y, and Z that was happening the next day. But I've gotten into a better habit of just turning it off by 9 every night and deciding,
you turn your phone off?
No, I don't know. I don't turn it off, but I basically.
I haven't turned my phone off since 2009.
I mean, even basically after dinner, almost every night I've tried to just ignore my phone from 7 until I'll take one last look at it before I brush my teeth. But then, it's basically 3 hours of not looking at my phone, and that's felt really nice every day. And then I wake up in the morning and I exercise to start the day, and then around 8 or 8:30, I'm okay, now I'll look at my phone, look at my laptop, and get back into the groove of A, reading depressing news, and B, going about the work. But I think that's been really healthy.
Hey, can I ask a question that I think a lot of people are wondering? How are you holding up without basketball?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's definitely weird. I mean, perspective has been really helpful, just obviously knowing how that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And I've actually watched they've been showing a lot of like old classic games from the tournament. So I've actually watched probably a handful of them over the past few weeks, either while working or parts of them on a weekend. So that's been kind of fun to go down memory lane. There's just so many. I know a lot of people have said they've been bored. I haven't been bored at all. Have you guys experienced boredom? But because between watching old games, between watching shows that I've never had the chance to watch, failing to do crossword puzzles and going outside, I felt like every day is pretty action-packed.
I would say that's something that you're particularly good at, is like keeping your mind busy and occupied, and like moving from like task to task and establishing. I was just having this conversation yesterday about like quarantine routines. And like I am like definitely still struggling to establish that, where it's like during the normal times, it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We know when we're getting up. We know we're going to Whole Foods on Wednesday. I know I'm going and showering at work after. I'm usually doing something after work, come home, rinse and repeat. Whereas now, like I have a lot of like free structure in my day. I feel like I'm like back to being in college, where you like get out of class at 2 p.m. and then you're like, I could go to the library and do my work, or pass out on my couch. Like it's a lot of that. So I think that's why I'm struggling. So it's not really a sense of boredom. I think it is a little bit more of a sense of like feeling trapped. But one of the cool things that happened to me during quarantine was that I moved to a new apartment roughly 4 blocks away from my old house. So it was a big move, but the moves helped a lot. You can see my nice modern kitchen behind me. Yeah, that's been really, really nice. So still working to like establish that baseline and like get into more of a routine. But I will say, like, quarantine goods, I'm getting better at baking my own bread. I have a cup. I made this loaf of za'atar bread.
Damn.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud. It got a little crispy on top, but overall super satisfied. So doing a little bit more baking than I would normally, and doing a lot more reading than I would normally. So those two things feel good. Otherwise, my phone usage is up like 2 trillion%. So if anyone knows how to stop that, I'm all ears.
Same here. You're not alone. Also, I think you should tell people about the Daily Crow.
Oh, well, see, I didn't want to mention it because then I was scared you guys would be like, oh, you should demo it, and then I'll get nervous.
Now you should demo it.
So I've been practicing crow pose every day, and for the first 4 days I was doing it completely wrong. And then I looked it up and researched how you're actually supposed to do crow pose.
Here we go.
Here it is.
Now I'm nervous.
Everyone's watching. All 57 viewers.
This is not going to be edited, folks.
There it is. He's up.
You can just do the rest of the show like this.
Feet were off the ground, confirmed. Wow, you get some really good sunlight in that place, Dazzo.
Okay, for fear of like showing everyone what the entire apartment looks like, I won't take you into my bedroom, but like, look at it! Look at how much sunlight we get!
Yeah.
Really nice. Title of the episode, the apartment tour.
Cribs. Should we do Cribs NPDC?
I just said I'm not showing the entire apartment.
It would be like a 5-minute episode
That's
to
all you
show
get.
our entire places.
Well, my favorite part of Cribs was when celebrities would open their fridge and you get to see what they had in the fridge. I think that could be a segment. Maybe our guest will show us what he has in his fridge.
Oh, good segue. So our guest is coming any minute now. His name is Joe Snow. He hails from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. He has been coming to NP for like less than a year, but he's made an incredible presence from the get-go. And we're gonna wait for him to join for him to tell us this crazy.
We're gonna introduce him and then not let him talk about himself.
But are you guys nervous that we're having a guest on this on just our second episode here? Like, how badly can we mess this up?
I'm a little nervous that I'm gonna keep talking over him the whole time.
Dazzo, you gotta let him talk.
Jake, do you have host control? Can you mute her if you need to?
I'll mute myself and then I'll just buzz in when I have a question.
Yes, I can mute her. If needed.
What is the thing that you guys are gonna do first once shelter in place or quarantine is lifted?
Good question.
First. That's a very good question. Probably just walk over to the playground a few blocks from us and just get up some shots, because they've been putting these wooden blocks on top of all the basketball hoops to strictly prohibit people from doing that. In fact, at the tennis courts over at Banneker, I guess within the last 5 days or so, they took down all the nets as well. So they're really putting in all the stops. There he is.
Hey.
What's up, Joe?
Hey, how's it going? Pretty good. How about y'all?
I'm doing very well, very well. Where are you? Are you like on your back patio there? Like,
Yeah, I am on my back patio. I have this nice little, 8x10 space and a hammock. Great.
nice. Dazzo, why don't you take it away? You haven't talked yet.
Okay. First of all, good product placement coming in the grassroots gear. First of all, Jake did a little pre-intro of you, but give us your name, where you're from, how long you've lived in DC, and any other November Project cities that you've visited, and then we'll get into some Q&A.
Cool. My name's Joe Snow, originally from Michigan. Been in DC about a year and a half now. Come to November Project since about October. And I've been to Phoenix, the Grand Rapids tribe, and went down to see the Atlanta tribe for the trials.
So talk about that a little bit. You took a road trip. You drove from DC to Atlanta with a couple other November Project members. What was that like, seeing the Olympic trials in person? Quite possibly like one of the last major live sporting events before kind of major sports were shut down.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. It was just an idea that I threw out there because November Project, a lot of running geeks, and 3 of us headed down there. And yeah, reflecting back on it now, it was wild to think that we were down there surrounded by so many people. But it was really great to see Des out there running, just seeing those guys run so fast.
Des, get in here! I'm just kidding. She's not coming on the show.
Do you know Des? Have you met her?
We're close friends.
My pal. So you go to the trials. While this was happening, you were training for the Rock and Roll Marathon. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
And then shortly after, like every race, everything starts getting canceled. Rock and Roll gets canceled. You get that email. What's going through your mind? Like, where do you go first? Are you like bummed? Do you immediately start planning your own race? Like, tell us about that.
Yeah. So I think Rock and Roll held out for a while and kind of, it was like 2 weeks before when they canceled or something like that, 2 or 3 weeks before. So I was still like training for it. And by that point I was like peak training. And I was definitely bummed, but knew it was coming because everyone else was already canceling. And I like had this idea that, because I was also going to do an ultra in May, and I wanted to do that. And I also had this idea to run a marathon on my birthday, which was March 20th, because I was turning 26. So I had that idea, but I was bummed that I wasn't going to be able to do that this year because I was going to have Rock and Roll and I didn't want to run 26 miles the week before I was going to run an actual marathon. So I was like bummed that it was canceled and I wasn't going to be able to race and potentially qualify for Boston. But then I was excited to be able to run a marathon on my birthday, which is a weird thing to say. And then, yeah.
So talk us through where did you run? what outfit did you wear? You know, what was your hydration and nutrition of choice? Talk us through it.
So when I did the 50K, that was on March 28th, which was Sunday. Wore some shorts. I think I might have worn my donut shorts. For Blue Top November Project. Wore my hat like always, sunglasses, and I had a little backpack with like 50 ounces of water. And then I just loaded it up with all the snacks that I could fit in like all the different pockets, because I had no idea how much I was going to need. And I ended up almost having the right amount of water. I ran out of water like probably 5 miles before I finished, which made the last 5 miles pretty rough. But I was able to do it. Fun. And the route, so I just went towards Georgetown, went over the Key Bridge, and then went on the Curtis Trail once I was over in Virginia. And then that kind of connects the WD and O, which heads down towards Alexandria. And then the Mount Vernon Trail goes along the river. They took that down to the Wilson Bridge, went over the Wilson Bridge, and then just kind of wandered up some streets back towards northeast DC.
So that's an incredible route and an incredible feat to do that on your own. Was there any point during it where you were just like, I hate that I'm doing this. I want to stop. This is ridiculous. Why am I out here? Was there any point like that, and how did you kind of push through?
No, I actually felt pretty good the whole time. I stopped about halfway through for an hour to do the Sunday plank with a group of people around noon, which is kind of fun. There's a nice little break. Ate some muffins. But yeah, it was pretty fun the whole time because a lot of it was new trails that I was riding down in places that I haven't been. And I was like checking out new places.
I like that stopping to do plank was like your version of an aid station. So Jake kind of asked about like lows and like getting into a pain cave. What did it feel like when you finished? Like watch hits 31.5. Are you rocky, like hands up? Are you just going nuts? Like, did you have champagne on ice back at your place? Like, what was the celebration?
I think I just rolled back to my place and hopped in the tub for a good long while because my muscles were pretty sore. Had some beers. It was great.
Nice.
Was that your first 50K, or have you?
Yeah, that was my first time over a marathon distance. Yeah, I don't know that most people do it before they actually do like a ultra marathon race. But it sounded like a fun thing to do.
What was that? I mean, you obviously covered a lot of distance, all over both the district and Virginia and Maryland. Was there a section of trail that you had never done before, or even that you had done before that you just loved and that you would like recommend to people as a great spot to run?
Yeah, I think the Curtis Trail is pretty good. That's the one that goes from like Arlington towards Falls Church.
Custis, isn't it the Custis?
Custis, yeah, that one. It's like nice rolling hills, which is kind of fun. And then
we're into factual accuracy only on this show, so Jake had to fact check you mid.
He ran on his own 50K. He can name that trail whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah. and then the WD&O is pretty cool too. I don't know what river it was along, but there's like some nice big rock formations in there. It's super pretty.
Emma, your turn.
Yeah. Do you have any other goals or running plans or things for the rest of this quarantine isolation that is an undetermined amount of time? Any other things you're going to do?
I've been looking at like some segments on Strava because they have like the crowns or like the King of the Mountain things. So I've been trying to grab some of those, which is kind of fun. There's a guy right now, some random guy in Strava that keeps taking them away from me, which is kind of a bummer. So I should go get some of them back. But yeah, just like looking for times on there that I think are doable, and it's like a nice little way to push yourself, I think.
Yeah, what's your kind of fitness routine been, I guess? Well, first of all, I mean, after the couple of 50Ks I've done, I've taken like 3 weeks off, but have you been back to doing things? And if so, what's your fitness routine been as far as like getting outside versus staying in your house versus, you know, what kind of things you're doing and what time of day you're doing them?
Yeah, I'm still running pretty much every day, but not really sticking to a plan or anything right now. Just doing whatever I feel like doing, in whatever time of day I feel like doing it. Sometimes like feel stuck in the middle of the day, so I just like go for a run, do a little bit, or sometimes I wait until after work and like do a few more miles. I just ran Hames Point yesterday for the first time, which I had never done before. I don't know how I've never done that, but it had just opened back up, so I went down there. Yeah, just trying to keep it interesting. Remembering that it's nice to have other people to run with, but you can also have fun running by yourself.
Joe, as the inaugural guest on NPDC The Show, I have two. One, I want you to think up your own segment that we can ask the next guest that we have on. It can be called like Joe Snow's Question Bops or whatever. But also, you don't have to go check it right now, but what's in your fridge? Like just off the top of your head. We were having a conversation about MTV Cribs earlier, which inspired this.
Oh no, did Joe freeze? Oh, there
my fridge. I had some stuffed olives in my fridge, so I had a couple of those before this. I had some blue cheese stuffed ones and some garlic stuffed ones. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, the garlic stuff ones are the best.
Snacking is key during quarantine, I find. When I'm not up looking at my phone, I'm definitely eating. So, two good habits. Joe Snow, what is your future segment for our next guest going to be?
What do people do when they pass other runners? Are you like, do you smile at them? Do you wave at them? Because I found that people are like waving more, which is kind of nice, or like smiling, or like trying to make eye contact, like getting that connection wherever you can. I remember when I visited Phoenix, they were saying how DC is like so stuck up, and down in Phoenix, like everyone waves to each other down on the trails, and it's super great. Like, so I'd like to see some more of that in DC. So like, what are people doing to wave to people or like have a connection as they pass people that they may not know?
Socially distant connecting.
Love that.
You are outside. I like that.
I was going for a run and I was trying to put my buff over my mouth like when I pass people, and I would like smile really big at them as I realized no one can see.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just like freaking people out with my buff or whatever look I have. So that's what I'm telling myself is the reason that I'm not getting smiles or good mornings back. But I'm glad that you are getting some of those waves back, Joe.
I'm actually happy you mentioned buffs because I'll be selling my old buffs for $30 to $40 per buff.
eBay.
On demand,
Dirty.
totally safe.
Not washed.
Machine may be washed.
Are they signed?
Hit me up.
Yeah, she's definitely going to sign him with a Sharpie. Yeah. Joe, man, thanks so much for hopping on with us today, man. Hope all is well, staying safe, and congrats again on that one-of-a-kind 50K.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Thanks, Joe.
Later, man.
He's so good.
He's great.
The best.
How do you guys want to wrap this up?
Some segment, some very basic sign-off type segment. You guys got anything?
What are you having for dinner?
That's good. Yeah, so I'll start. We are having, we're cooking some carrots. We're gonna put them in the oven. I'm actually getting some flack right now for not being part of the process. So that's why I really got to wrap this up. But I'm going to participate for the record. And then we are going to have, I think the latest was we're going to have mac and cheese on the side. And we were thinking about doing these veggie sausages, but we had those a couple nights back. And despite the difficult times, we're trying to vary our meals from day to day, not have the same thing. I actually got to say, the food I've been eating has been tremendous. When we were talking earlier about the daily highs, been eating very, very well.
Nice.
What about you guys? What are you eating?
I'm having mushroom tacos for dinner.
Ooh.
Yeah. Pretty excited.
Nice.
I haven't decided if it's going to be a taco or burrito yet, but I'm going to get pickup from Bandit Taco. Shout out to those guys if you want to sponsor the show.
That's the place down at, was that 16th in New Hampshire?
Right around the corner from Exiles, where I got this glass.
That's right.
Also, shout out to you guys if you want to sponsor the show.
NPDC The Show is sponsored.
Yes, sponsored by nobody. Okay, let's wrap this thing. As Zoom is telling us, it's going to end in 10 minutes anyway. Oh, by the way, we're taping this on Thursday night. It's not going to be up for a while, but we are having our first Friday Zoom workout tomorrow morning, so that'll be interesting. Look forward to seeing people on that. Anything else?
Roll the credits.
Peace. Eat well.
Computer off.